Well, I believe I don't know which child it was, but one was placed with their biological father. We continue to have custody. We have to retain custody until the other state, until the judge here releases custody. So
okay, the judge
custody wasn't given away last August. It was that maybe your daughter was placed with her father.
No. She said that it was custody, and when we were in court with Judge McConnell, Mike Merrill said they had already given custody away last August, and I'll repeat, that was the first I had ever heard about it.
Which daughter is this?
Which what?
Which daughter is this one?
Samantha.
Samantha. Okay.
Samantha Kennington. He said that they were able to modify a divorce decree in another state, not even a state where he is now, that happened, 10 or 11 years ago. And that's how he supposedly got custody. Now, how could that happen? I was never even given any notice to speak on any of it, had no idea. This is just a big surprise 7 months after the fact.
I would have to look at the record. I have no clue.
Okay, now if Rebecca is my worker, shouldn't she have informed me about that?
Well, yes, she should keep you advised on all of that.
She has not. And
has
when
she been
I
making
asked
home
her,
visits to your home?
Not for the past few months, because what was the point?
Well, it's her job.
Yeah, I understand, but
and that's why.
Well, okay, let me tell you.
To.
She came over here twice, and I did not let her in. I let her in the first 6, 7 times. I offered her lunch. She's been inspected everything in my house multiple times. But by August, it became clear that, there was no intention of ever sending my children home. So I just want to know why I wasn't given that opportunity and why I never knew that custody of my children were given away without my knowledge. Is that typical? I mean, is that standard procedure?
No, it isn't.
Okay,
no,
so then where do I go next? Obviously, a bunch of people are breaking laws here.
Well, you have a team.
And
my team. Decisions that Children's Division makes is not on their own. It is made with other team members as well.
Who's my team?
Your team is the juvenile officer, you, your worker, the worker supervisor, any clinicians or other people involved in the case.
All right,
anybody that you would want to bring on your behalf to be a part of that.
Awesome. I went to every single FST meeting that has been scheduled, and not once has this conversation ever happened. Not once did they tell me, we're giving custody away without telling you, Christy, and you might find out 7 months later if you're lucky. Not once did that conversation ever happen.
The discussion of where the children were going to be placed was never talked about at your FST meeting?
No.
Or the PPRC
No. And they gave custody. I had sole physical and legal custody of my children I raised by myself for 13 years. Not once did they say, oh, we're giving custody away over here. They did not do that. And
instead, I still think we have custody, Christy.
Yeah, well,
I don't think your information is accurate right now.
Okay, I just got off the phone
I'm going
with her.
to check it out. I will check it out.
Yeah, I just
and
got off
see
the
what
phone
I
with her.
Can find out.
She hung up on me twice, by the way, when I asked her this. So she admitted she knows about it. She admitted she has the papers there. I asked her, how come I don't have a copy? How come I never heard of it? Oh, well, we really don't have anything to do with the custody, she says.
Well, we don't with that piece as far as whether your is it an ex-husband?
Yeah, but she knew about
gets
it.
That modified or not, that's him. But our courts here don't just release without the other parent having at least some custody.
Okay, well, they did.
Divorce.
They did do that. They gave away custody.
When did that happen?
In August. Well, I can't tell you the day because I don't know. All I know, according to what Rebecca and Mike Merrill said in front of Judge McConnell, that it happened last August. but I was never notified of a custodial hearing where they're going to give custody, full custody of my children away. Not once.
Okay, well, that's not our doing. That would be within family court of wherever the modification would have occurred.
I understand, but if Rebecca knew about that for 7 months, why wouldn't she tell me? I mean, she went 4 months without calling me.
Like I said, I'll need to check into this further.
Okay, and when this happened in August, like I said, I don't know the date, but what I do know the dates of is that she did not return my call for 4 full months. It went August, September, October, November, December. I finally got a hold of her after calling supervisors. It was December either 28th or 30th. I'll have to look at my notes. But it was over 4 months where I heard nothing, zero from her. Not one single phone call, not one home visit, not one letter, not one return call, nothing. Over 4 months. So I'm assuming that she figured in August, well, we gave custody of this one away, so why contact Christy? When we got back in touch, she never said such a thing. Like I said before, the first I heard about this was last month sitting in McConnell's courtroom. And by the way, the hearing, it said this is not a custodial hearing. This has nothing to, okay. So why?
It should be a review.
I understand. That's exactly what the paperwork said. But that's not what happened. They gave custody away last August. How come I never heard of that? How come the worker never told me? She just admitted to me she knew since August and has copies of the paperwork, but I've never seen or heard such a thing.
I will. Is your attorney Merrill?
I don't have one.
Oh, you don't? Okay,
no, I wasn't given one until August. They appointed Dave Calignan, which I guess is a prosecutor for Ozark, and they appointed him in August. The first I heard from him was December 28th. I spoke with him 4 times from December 28th to January 28th, and not once he didn't want to do anything. He did absolutely nothing, didn't advise me. January 28th, he said, screw this, and then removed himself from the case. So I've never once had legal counsel, not once, and the one that was appointed to me also went 4 months without notifying me, and in fact, he never notified me of this, but he should have known, being that this happened last August, correct?
I don't know. I'm not over any of the appointing of attorneys, and I don't know what their responsibilities are and their roles.
Okay, but if he's supposed to advise or represent me, you would just assume that he would have my file, and if this is in my file, according to Rebecca, he would have known. Somebody would have known that, right? Somebody should have told me.
Right, and I would think if you had an attorney that he would advise you of what was going on.
And yeah, exactly. And maybe I should have even been invited to a custodial hearing, correct?
Well, we don't have custodial hearings here. I don't know what you're talking about there because
that's what I'm saying.
Children's Division doesn't have custodial hearings. We have adjudication and yearly review hearings, that type of thing. And maybe during a review, there may be orders that are made by the judge for things to happen.
So
but,
I understand what you're saying.
Cases.
And according to the paperwork that I have from you or Juvenile Division, every paperwork I have resonates with what you're saying. But that's not what happened. They actually found a way, and like I said, I wasn't there, I never received notice, so I don't even know the date, and I don't know how. But Mike Merrill said in front of Judge McConnell, and Rebecca just told me today.
What is Mike Merrill's role in this case?
He apparently is representing the ex, the deadbeat, who disappeared for 13 years, never sent her a birthday card, a Christmas card, never once a phone call, never. So I guess they did this. None of them have talked to me.
Okay, so he's representing Samantha's father?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to get the pieces together here.
Yeah, Merrill is representing James Keddington, Samantha's father, and Joe Allen is representing Amberly's father. Joe Allen has not done such a thing. In fact, he was going to file for temporary custody or something, and then we would work out whatever physical, what him and I were going to decide together. He's been very fair and on the ball. He didn't do anything sneaky. Mike Merrill and Judge Justice did something sneaky that I was not allowed to know about until 7 months later. All the while, Rebecca knew and didn't tell me, which I believe is why I was never given an opportunity to take my children home on any case plan I've ever received and complied with 100%. I haven't even received a case plan since August. Why is that?
I don't know what the case goal is.
Okay.
So I can't answer. Like I told you, Christy, I don't have that in front of me, so I can't answer the specifics.
Yeah, the whole
But
time.
I will look into this and see what I can find, see if, in fact, this is how it's all come down.
Okay, yeah, it is. And I'll just say, on the case plans the whole time, they said that their goal was reunification
yeah.
with a parent, or with a custodial parent.
Mm-hmm.
And being that I was the only custodial parent all along, I mean, like I said, in every other case, and people I've spoken to in Jefferson City and St. Louis and, governor's office, etc., and other people within the system, they have told me a case plan consists of, unless, okay, let's say I'm raping him or beating or, crazy stuff like that, which obviously didn't happen. I would understand, okay, well, you don't have a chance. But they led me to believe that if you follow these steps, which I did,
Mm-hmm.
that my children would be to a custodial parent. Now, where she's playing semantics and hanging up on me is saying, well, they are reunified with a custodial parent, yet this custody happened without me knowing. How could that happen? I mean, being that our divorce, Merrill said that he was able to modify a divorce decree that happened in Salt Lake City, Utah. And by the way, even James doesn't live there. He lives in Colorado. So if this was to happen, would I have heard something from either a court here, a court in Colorado, or a court in Utah?
I would think so if they had your address.
Exactly. And I should have been served, correct? With like a return receipt or a service person letting me know, here's a court date and we're going to take your or attempt to take custody away or give it to somebody else?
No, that's usually the way that it works.
Okay, and it didn't work like this time, so I'm just wondering why. And by the way, I have not received anything at all from Rebecca or anyone regarding this case since last August.